have made a couple of changes. Raptors are running Juancho Hernan-Gomez. They also bring in Christian Siakam gets it to swirl through. What's up, guys? I know I'm a little late. Had to do some maintenance stuff before getting started. But a CassMac Chat on Tuesday instead of the standard Monday because of the national championship. And I know a lot of my followers and things were hyper-focused on the Georgia portion of the national championship, and Georgia, that was a bloodbath, a most dominant college football game I've ever seen. Quite possibly a little bit really embarrassing for Hudson, for TCU, no doubt, but I don't think anyone was beating Georgia last night. I don't. So, but the Braves don't really have much news today, but Luke Jackson did sign a 2-year, $11.5 million contract with the San Francisco Giants. I can't believe he got $11.5 million due to the fact that he's coming off Tommy John surgery, and I don't know why he wants to play against the Dodgers. He's not been very great against the Dodgers, but great for him to be able to get a 2-year deal plus an option, and he's back with Jock in San Francisco. Johnny Cueto signed a 1-year, $8.5 million deal with the Miami Marlins with an option for next year as well. The Miami Marlins kind of make no sense. They haven't made much sense for a while. Brandon Belt signed a 1-year deal with the Toronto Blue Jays. Interesting. Correa is finally maybe a Minnesota Twin again. 6 years, 200, but again, it's pending physical. But I'm just glad the Mets lost out on Carlos Correa. Let's see. But I'm really happy for Luke, but I think I'm more happy for my heart that I don't have to worry about watching the adventures of Luke Jackson. So that's nice. Hello, Terry. I really hope that the Braves bullpen it has less stressful saves this year. Who knows if that will actually happen? I think the last time I wasn't really stressed about late inning stuff was Billy Wagner and rookie Craig Kimbrell, I think, was the last time I wasn't really stressed about the ninth inning. The reality is you're gonna blow saves, but you still felt comfortable and but that is pretty much the biggest news. I am surprised that the Correa saga has taken this long, but I heard that the Mets offered 6 years, 157.5, but stipulated that Correa had to have annual physicals because of whatever his leg problem is. I don't know if it's made of wood or what. But to not have to deal with him in the division for a decade plus is kind of nice. So that is actually okay to think about. Oh, the other big NL East trade was Giovanni Soto and uh, Colby Clemens from the Detroit Tigers to the Philadelphia Phillies for Nick Maton and Matt Bierling. Giovanni Soto is a great reliever, throws hard, but he's honestly just like Jose Alvarez. He's really good, but he walks a ton of people. Doesn't really have the biggest strikeout rate for a guy that throws really hard. So I'm really kind of surprised, even though he does have 3 years of control. 3 years of control, and Matt Vierling and Nick Maton were solid bench pieces. So yeah, I was surprised by that as well. And again, the luck that Philly's bullpen has had over the years. I agree with you, Hudson. I was surprised as well. Yeah, I'm happy that we don't have to deal with Correa, but I'm just again surprised at how much that has been strange. But it's also strange from the Giants' perspective because they signed Mitch Haniger, which I really like, 345, but he has about a worse injury history than Carlos Correa. You got Michael Conforto, who hasn't played in a couple of years because of a bum shoulder, and signing Luke Jackson to a 2-year, $11.5 million deal coming off Tommy John. It's a little odd what they have done, but not bad. It's just very, very contingent on it's just very contingent on health. A lot of their roster, so that's very, very interesting. Although I think they would feel vindicated by the whole Mets debacle with the Correa physical as well. So maybe they did know something. So there's that. Evan Longoria signed a 1-year deal with the Diamondbacks. I'm not sure if I said that last week or not. That's an interesting piece. And veteran thing for them. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, the Braves are again still set. I did hear on Dave O'Brien's podcast or something, or people talking about it, that with Kyle Wright and Charlie Morton coming off the books in 2024, it might behoove us more to get a Max Fried extension done. Obviously, we know that he's a big LA guy, has all the ties in the world, so who knows? But that might motivate us a little more to get a deal done with Fried, because there's some uncertainty contract-wise with some of our big pieces in the rotation, and our farm system depth isn't the greatest pitching-wise now with all the trades, so that might be something to follow. Arbitration figures are to be exchanged by teams on January 13th. So I believe that is Friday. So that should be interesting. Maybe the Braves can work out an extension for Max Fried because he is arbitration eligible again, and probably will get a big time Rays. So we'll see on that. AJ Minter is big. I believe Santana is one as well. Dennis Santana is arbitration eligible. AJ Minter. So we'll see how that works out. I pretty much believe that we're going with Vaughn Grisham at shortstop. For now, given the fact that we have Orlando Arcia as the veteran stopgap, even though maybe that's not the greatest on paper, but again, I think I'm more willing to roll with Vaughn Grisham than possible inconsistencies with. I mean, we dealt with four years or so with Dansby's inconsistencies at the plates. Yeah, losing Luke Jackson stinks, but it might help our heart rates. Who knows on that. And I'm surprised he got 11.5 from the Giants, just given coming off of Tommy John surgery. And usually you do better coming off of Tommy John surgery, but you're not sure. And Luke Jackson has admittedly said that the Dodgers are his father. So I hope he does well when he's not playing the Braves. But other than that, I miss Luke, though. He was one of, I believe he was the first player to interact and like my videos, so he'll always have a special place in my heart. And he helped me create the phrase Adventures of Luke Jackson, and that took off. So I will always have a special place in my heart for Luke. But I think we have a much better depth of bullpen and probably going to save some heart medication, at least from the night shift perspective. And tonight's dinner is ham, mashed potatoes, and corn, just as always said. We also signed Yaxel Rios, who had been crushing the Puerto Rican Winter Leagues. He had an 0.65 ERA in 27.2 innings pitched. So supercharge your immunity, energy, and life with 27.2 innings pitched with an 0.65 ERA and 34 strikeouts to 3 walks. So he's a definite intriguing piece to watch in the bullpen and the back end of the bullpen. Those battles are going to be interesting. Yeah. Mets still Metsing, even though it's not even the season. It's nice to see. He's still getting $200 million, so I'm not going to cry for Correa, but I'm really glad we don't have to deal with him at all. And I hope his leg is okay, or whatever that is, because it's weird. I think it's possibly a Boris thing, sort of, kind of weird stuff. Or there's something that they're not saying about the physical. I don't know. But I'm really glad we don't have to deal with them. It looks like Trevor Story is going to miss significant time for the Boston Red Sox with the elbow. So who knows what they're going to do shortstop-wise now, and that hurts even more losing Xander Bogaerts the way they did. Even though that was the big news, I forgot. Devers 11. Sorry, I'm watching the Hornets too. 11 and 337. Was it 11 337 for Devers? I believe, and again, making the Austin Riley contract look even better. So, and I hate that people keep comparing Austin to Devers, because Devers was in his walk year and had all the leverage in the world, especially with the way the Red Sox offseason has gone. They really, really needed to do this for Red Sox fans' sanity, and Devers deserved it. But there was still, I believe we still had 3 years of control with Austin buying out his arbitration years, so that makes it completely different. And I don't like the fact that a lot of lists and a lot of things have said that the Braves have had one of the poorer off seasons. I don't see that at all. I don't see how the Braves have signing veteran, low cost, amazing bullpen pieces, getting an all-star caliber catcher for less than half JT Realmuto on an extension. I don't know how that is necessarily losing the offseason. Yeah, we lost Dansby, but we all know the inconsistencies of him. And giving Vaughn Grisham the keys. It's going to be interesting, but I don't see how we've lost when 3/4 of our roster is locked up for the foreseeable future. I think that is short-sighted analysis, and I'm not trying to be biased. I would say it hasn't been the most eventful off season, but it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be when, again, 3/4 of your roster is locked up. And yeah, I trust Ron Washington. He tells me a kid is good at an infield position, then I'm gonna trust that. So I don't know. And the Mets, what, they spent 700 and some thousand now that Correa. I guess the rumor now is that Manny Machado is going to. People think Manny Machado is going to opt out and then he'll become a Met. But again, I don't like to go farther than what we are now, and that is 36 days or so from pitchers and catchers reporting. And I'm actually really happy with where everything stands. I think I say that every week. But I haven't done a Braves video in about 11 days, so that's a little not fun. And I'll do something, but I actually am doing a video series of the top 5 burning questions for the Braves this year. That should be coming out hopefully at some point this week. I've been working with my friend on a thumbnail and things of that nature, so I've got that coming down the pipeline. But with the Braves 40-man roster being full right now, we did add a couple of guys. And I know you can't wait for your birthday, Joseph, because hanging out with the Braves on your birthday is the best birthday present. So I'm kind of jealous there, but Yeah, I prefer. I love the flashy free agent stuff, but the last time the Braves, let's see, the last flashy free agents we have is what? BJ Upton, 575.25, and Marcelo Ozuna, and I believe Derek Lowe was one as well. He didn't do that bad. So I think homegrown talent is kind of the way to go. For sure. Also, in my opinion, not that my opinion matters too much, but because if you get star power free agents, they're all going to be hungry, and there's only so many at bats to go around, and only so much playing time, and trying to fit the pieces together. Baseball team is like a puzzle, and fitting those pieces together really, really matters. And the other guys are just as important as the stars. And when you kind of put a lot of stars together, sometimes that doesn't work. So it's going to be interesting how the Mets and the Padres battle in terms of that. And because with the Braves, all of our guys, for the most part, have come up through the system together. So they've been bros for a while. And I think that is a big boost, especially with Ronald and Ozzy's relationship. I think if Ozzy and Ronald stay healthy, they're going to be an epic 1-2 punch. I did have a question. Do you guys think that Michael Harris, the second, will be the second hitter, or Ozzy behind Ronald? My gut kind of says Michael Harris, but I don't know if you want to. Do you want to spread out the speed element of the Braves? Maybe the speed element of the Braves. Just a thought. I mean, and also, the international signing period didn't start yet, did it? I know we were in line to get a couple of guys, especially from Venezuela. Ronald being from Venezuela helps that as well. But also, if we really want Travis to be more of a DH, then I think the Marcelo Ozuna of it all and the logjam in left field will probably have to. Healthcare.gov is here for millions like you. It's bow time. I don't know which one you're referring to, but I hope so too. But yeah, I think the left field logjam will. Yeah, well then it would play, because you probably go you go Ronnie, Mike, or Ronnie, Ozzy, Matt 3, Riley 4, Travis or Sean 5, something like that. If you're putting Michael Harris at 9, and if Marcell Ozuna has to be in the lineup, 7 or 8, and if he's still on our roster, honestly. Oh yeah, Diego Benitez. He's really young though. He won't be. I don't think he'll be a thought for a couple more years. But Eddie Rosario, bounce back maybe in the 6, 7, 8 spot. If you're putting Michael Harris, the second at 9. But I believe Hudson, you were the one that brought up the speed element of the Braves. You got 40 potential from Ronald Ozzie and Michael Harris, especially with the new pitch out rules and that such. So that'll be fun to follow for sure. Oh, I forgot about Vaughn Grisham. Duh. You're going to put probably Vaughn Grisham, what? I would put Marcell 8, Vaughn Grisham 7, Michael Harris 9, something like that. Yeah, that's going to be fun to follow. The bench is very, very cloudy right now in terms of what we're going to do there, but that should be that'll be a fun that'll be a fun thing to follow. Well, I mean, yeah, I would prefer not to have Marcell Ozuna in the lineup, but with his contract, and if we have to keep him, I don't think you can keep 32 million on the bench. Ugh, health insurance. That's super adulting, but I think you were the one that brought up Hudson, the speed element of the lineup potential, so that'll definitely be fun to follow. That's pretty much all you missed. But we were talking about lineup construction with if Michael Harris is second, would be second or ninth or somewhere at the bottom. I think Jameson said he would put him in the 9 hole. I mean, I would prefer Marcell Ozuna not to be on our team, but I mean, I'm all for. But the funny thing is, I think he's very well liked-ish in the clubhouse. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I mean, it would be nice if he is a little bit. I mean, I don't necessarily like Marcell Ozuna, what he did personally and what he did at the plate. It would help if he turned that around a little bit. But the Marcelo Ozuna of it all. I mean, we've tried to trade him twice. 2 teams said no. And that was bad contract swaps even, but it was within division. So I think we'll still have to battle that answer until spring training. And further than that, I think we'll get clarity eventually. I'm just not sure when or if we will, because it's just there's a lot of business to it. I did forget. Speaking of Marcelo Ozuna, kind of on the same level, he could be. We'll have to follow and see. Trevor Bauer got officially released by the Dodgers on January 6th, and looks like nobody is going to touch him with the 10-foot pole. But the LA Dodgers are on the hook for $32 million. That is probably why we've seen a slower offseason for them than normal. But that's just the Mariners have hired Stephen Vogt as as their bullpen coach. That's really, really cool. And speaking of the Mariners, I knew there was a deal that I forgot. AJ Pollock, 1-year deal, $7 million with the Mariners. So that is a nice signing for them. They've had a really solid offseason as well, but Stephen Vogt, being a Mariner, will kind of shift my focus to the Mariners kind of being a secret AL team for me. So, that is pretty much all the news I have, I think, unless I forgot something. The Mets have contacted Spencer Rattler coming back is great for you guys. South Carolina, speaking of, that's awesome. I read something today that somebody said that Georgia was going to go 7-5. Who in their right mind actually thought that was going to happen? That's just terrible. But having South Carolina be back on the map, so to speak, helps. I think Missouri played Georgia the hardest of all. I'm not a fan of any Hornets uniform right now because it doesn't matter what we do. We get crushed most of the time, so it doesn't really matter what we're wearing. Yeah, it's the ones with the gold. It kind of doesn't flow with the color scheme, but I don't think they're that bad. So we got free throws for Pascal Siakam. All right, ask a question. You played for both these But I also feel like the Hornets are like bad, but they also get really unlucky. Like Precious Achua had two 3-pointers all year, or 3 3-pointers all year. He's made 3 tonight. So it's kind of, players don't tank, but I would love to get Wimby, but our luck in the lottery is not great, so who knows. Yeah, I feel like the Braves are going to end up with like a peach-themed City Connect uniform or something too. That might happen. I wouldn't be sad about it if it did. I wouldn't be sad if that would happen. Didn't we have a cream colored white one for a while, and it kind of just went away or something? This is like a track meet. We had a cream color one. It wasn't peach though. I don't know. I feel like the City Connect are either really awesome or really terrible. So I'm not really sure. Like I think my favorite are like the Miami ones are good. The Houston ones are okay. I don't like the darkish blue. Um, yeah, the retro style crossing with the tomahawks are good. Um, let's see. Well, yeah, that's not that's not a surprise for LaMelo. I mean, he's got to stop with the cheap fouls himself on defense. But let's see. So you got Acuna, Albies, Riley, Olsen, Murphy, TD, Ozuna. I would say, so you're having, well, Murphy and Murphy and Travis would be a slash, right? Because it's either catcher, GH, think. So I think Murphy's going to be our primary catcher. I think they want Travis to be DH more, so that's why I think there's a roadblock, so to speak, with Ozuna. Yeah, I mean, but also I said that about that. But do you want to spread out the speed element of the lineup? And Vaughn Grisham's got some pretty nice wheels as well too. So I think there's a lot of options. I think Eddie's in there somewhere unless we trade Eddie. But yeah, that lineup kind of is a nice basis of what's probably going to happen, which is nice to see. I think what position in the lineup was Riley when he went on that insane tear in the month of June. I can't remember. Was that 3 or 4? But if you have Michael Harris second, I would think you put Riley third. Olsen fourth, and yeah, something to that effect would be awesome and ideal.
Your dreams are our dreams because with us, it's personal.
It would, and I was just scrolling through Twitter, and the Mets have checked in on Brian Reynolds. So, and I think, what was they want a Soto type package for Brian Reynolds after Brian Reynolds rejected a six-year, $75 million contract, and I honestly think that was a little light for him. He probably deserves 700 to start the conversation, but you obviously it's the Pirates, so it's a completely different situation, and so I think they said they're looking for a Soto type return, so the Braves definitely couldn't pull it off, and I don't even know what the Mets have, so that could be interesting to follow. But but yeah, I would think Riley 3, Olsen 4. Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I could deal with that too. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would be totally fine with that type of lineup, for sure.
We celebrated your return with some wonderful offense by the Hornets. The defense wasn't so great, but the offense was a thing to behold. Offense was really
yeah, I think if it's, especially if it's our Marcelo Zuna, depending on if he's on the roster in spring and whatever, I think if he's on the roster, you put DH at 8th. Honestly, I think so. But I feel like left field is still a point of cloudy. That's all I can think of is the word. Yeah, 6 through 9, definitely fluid, but I think it can't be any worse than Kevin Smith, Almonte, even though he did some good things in Guillermo Heredia. So it's going to be better than that 7 through 9 or 6 through 9. So, and then I think the 5th spot in the rotation, I think it goes Max, Strider, Wright, Morton. And I'm calling the 5th spot right now. The 5th spot right now to me will be Elder, but I also could see Anderson. But in my mind, probably Elder. I've been big on the Elder, but I can also see a Ian Anderson type of turnaround. I really could. I mean, not a Kyle Wright type turnaround for Anderson. But the 5th spot in the rotation for me is Elder right now. I know that we only have the one lefty with Max Fried, so that's a little but and could be kind of predictable for lineups that we face. So maybe that could be an area of addition, but
Okay, you're all set. So now with your new Apple TV 4K, you get faster performance thanks to Apple's A15 Bionic chip. Right. And Apple TV has the best apps like Spectrum TV, Apple Music, Apple Fitness Plus. Exactly. And with the same remote, you can do everything.
Yeah, watch some rando guy that none of us are expecting to make the roster, like a Edhier Adrianza or Pablo Sandoval, end up cracking the roster and being a big part of whatever becomes of everything. It's a
Thanks, Daddy. Bring in the new year with CPI, and we'll include your choice of 3 free smart security devices. My CPI keeps the scares away. Make CPI yours.
completely agree with both. You always want to create the lineup that puts the most stress on teams, and I do want somebody to come out and have kind of a stranglehold on the 5th spot, or get a stranglehold on the 5th spot, so we're not just plugging the hole, so to speak. I definitely agree there, for sure. Yeah. Great. That sounds amazing to me. Because a couple of years ago, Tucker Davidson kind of take the 5th spot, but then Oscar Inoue kind of came in and took a stranglehold on that. So then that's a thing as well. Obviously, I would love Mike Soroka to be a thing. That would be an extra bonus. That would be a definite bonus. Whether that'll happen, who knows? But yeah, I'm really, really excited, and we're getting closer to February, which means closer to baseball all day, every day for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, which is the best thing because there's always something on TV. Yeah, I actually thought it would be Justin Henry Malloy before we traded him, but I don't know who it could be. Maybe Jesse Franklin. I know he's an outfielder, and we don't really need outfield, but like if he does a Michael Harris, and maybe he becomes the left fielder, and we figure out the rest of it, or somebody else comes in at DH or something like that. Something weird. We all know something weird, and something weird's gonna happen, and it's always a pleasure to see something weird happen that none of us are expecting. Because the last time something weird happened, it ended in positive. Pablo Sandoval hitting the first homer of 2021 and having 4 pinch hit homers in the first month was the weird thing that happened for us in 2021, or one of them. So I think Edhier Adrianza has a good a chance as any to make the roster. But again, I think the bench is really unknown because you got Eli White. I think he'll make it, but he's also important because he has 2 minor league options, but he's like Guillermo Heredia, much better than Guillermo Heredia, defensively especially. Speed, he's like tearing score speed, so we'll see there. Jordan Luplo, I really like what he could bring. Who's that guy that Sam Hilliard from Colorado? There's a lot of fringe guys right now for our roster. I actually think that I would love to see Nick Anderson make it, the right-hander that's had a lot of injuries but dominated with the Rays, that type of thing. But there's going to be a lot of fun spring training battles to look for, and I think I just gave myself another video idea, so that is awesome too. But I mean, this year, every year is fun, but this year is going to be really fun. And there's one thing I really hope that doesn't happen is that the comparisons between Vaughn Grisham and Dansby Swanson, I hope they're not the same as Freddie and Olsen. That was annoying the first week and a half of the season. And that lasted all year long. So I hope that doesn't last. Possibly. For the Mike Soroka situation, pretty possibly there. But we'll also see, we're also going to see it in spring training and see what needs to happen. But that's definitely a scenario for sure. That I could see happening. I didn't actually think about it until you just said it, but that might be a really good thing for him. But who knows there? Well, that's again, a lot of battles and a lot of fun unknowns. That's what I love about spring training, is there's a lot of fun unknowns. Felix Hernandez almost pitched for the Braves and probably would have gotten the 5th rotation spot had COVID not been a thing. So but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. This year as a whole is gonna be a lot of fun watching the all-star teams try to live up to the expectations. Us trying to live up to the expectations. I think the NL East is going to be huge and fun to watch in the toughest division, as it usually is. That is agreed there, Hudson, for sure. I hope he just trusts himself and goes out there and pitches and doesn't worry about things that he can't control, and hopefully Lady Luck in terms of the injury stays on his side. So that is really going to be fun to watch. I'm going to wonder if Ian Anderson develops another pitch. I think that's going to be important. But I think Seattle, Toronto, Arizona is going to be interesting to watch. I don't think they have necessarily done it, but they're going to be super pesky in my mind. Seattle, Toronto, probably going to take extra leaps. You got the Astros, of course, being the Astros, things of that nature. But I think that's all I got for today. Really good discussion. Loving it. And we keep getting closer and closer to real baseball and all of that stuff. So that's epic and amazing in so many ways, and so happy about it. And I don't know. Next Monday is going to be playoff football Monday, so I think I'm going to stream during that anyway. And again, I will I promise I will do the videos of every team, free agency, and the off seasons and my off season grades and all of that jazz. I haven't exactly figured out the best way to do it yet. I'll do it probably by division or by team, just so I can get more videos. But I am going to do the 5 burning questions for me heading into spring training for the Braves. I'm really excited about that. But thanks for joining. As always, go Braves. Hit like, hit subscribe. Helps me out a lot. I know you guys are all subscribed more than likely, so thanks already for that. And thanks for hanging. It really helps the watch hours and things of that nature. So I appreciate it, guys. I'll talk to you guys next Monday. I know it's Tuesday, but it'll be next Monday again this time. So we'll be back on that schedule. And when the season starts, I will figure out the best day to do game watches and stuff. But thanks, guys. Had an awesome time, and I'll talk to you guys next Monday.